Now, EThekwini Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda's local government elections campaign continues today. The Durban Mayor is introducing a contractor to the Chatsworth and Bottlebrush community. The area sees frequent water disruptions due to poor maintenance on its water systems and infrastructure. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan has been following the story on the ground and joins us for more. Karinda, very good morning to you. Of course, the campaign trail continues across the country. What are some of the expectations as the mayor has been going on this process and continues to do this work?
Indeed, good morning to you. So the background to the story is that this community of Chatsworth, Bottlebrush, Welbeduct, where I'm in, just south of Durban, has experienced frequent water interruptions over the past years. We saw in January 2021, earlier this year, the Chatsworth community going without water for almost a month because of faulty infrastructure regarding the water systems. And we actually see this across the EThekwini municipality, even in Tongaat, which is the northernmost part of the metro, and the western areas of the metro as well. Frequent water interruptions because it's understood that the water infrastructure system is not being maintained regularly, it's not getting the servicing that it needs, and therefore there's often pipes that are breaking down and reservoir and storage systems that fail to work properly and pump water to those communities. Now, over this time, there have been residents asking for some sort of intervention from the EThekwini municipality to attend the situation. It's not easy in Port to live without water for long periods of time. But today, as we head up to the local government elections, we saw that last month and, of course, today, the EThekwini Municipality Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda coming to the ground and launching or introducing what he describes as contractors who will undertake the work to start repairing some of the systems here and revamping some of the water infrastructure. In fact, in Tongaat, last month he was there and launched a 35 million rand project that would reinforce some of the infrastructure regarding water service delivery. And in the western part, Ward 2 of EThekwini, last month as well, he undertook the same project, introducing a contractor to that community who would restore and maintain the water supply infrastructure to the tune of 39 million rand. It's unclear how much this project is going to cost. He'll be telling us more today, but it's interesting to find out about why this intervention is happening now only in the run-up to the local government elections. These communities have been questioning and calling for assistance for quite a long time. And also along with this, Mpho, is the fact that these communities, as you can see behind me, are living in a state of poverty. We were in this area last week in the Bottlebrush settlement to see how sewage was flowing through the settlement. There were very few ablution facilities as well. The community is in dire need of development for their own surroundings, and of course we'll be surfacing these questions to the mayor on what his plans are to take this development to the next stage and not just stop here by simply introducing a contractor that is expected to undertake this work to help this community.
Karinda, you raise a very important point as you ask about the timing of this campaign and all the money that's been put in the run-up to the local government elections. Of course, we've seen this throughout the country where the officials, government officials, are visiting communities trying to understand what the problems are when the problems have been ongoing for decades on end. Let's talk a little bit about this water problem. We heard President Cyril Ramaphosa speaking about infrastructure plans and asking private sector to also weigh in and also putting the focus on water as something that needs to really be paid attention to. How has that community gone by without much water, their day-to-day lives? How have those lives been affected?
That's a very good point. In fact, here, when there's water interruptions that last for a long time, months on end, or weeks on end rather, water tankers are expected to be brought into this area to deliver water to the community. But oftentimes the community has trouble because they say that the tankers are not coming on time, or they're skipping certain roads, or by the time they enter a certain part of the community that's a bit more away from the major highways and roads, the water has run out. So there's also an issue with emergency water supply for communities when the infrastructure, when the water system breaks down. It seems that at this point either the municipality does not have enough water tankers or there's an issue with regards to the routes they are taking between communities, to ensure that everyone is given sufficient water supply in an emergency situation in a proper amount of time for them to be able to fend for themselves. When there is no water tankers in this area, these communities walk for, or residents in these communities walk for a long periods at a time to go to either local beaches where there'll be taps there to collect some water, or in some cases some of the residents will simply try and relocate themselves to a relative's house in another part of the city where there's water actually flowing through their taps. But the issue of emergency water supply is also high on the list of topics to discuss with the mayor. In fact, the program was scheduled to start at 8 o'clock, but right now people are still setting up, so it's still quiet on the ground. But this is something that needs to be touched on as well, because earlier this year in Chatsworth we did see almost fights breaking down while people were trying to get water from the water tankers because they were so far between in terms of the visits that these water tankers were taking, the rounds it was taking in the community. So water supply as a whole via the main infrastructure or in terms of emergency service delivery is actually a major cause for concern in this municipality, but as well in the KwaZulu-Natal province.